Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all safe and well. My name's Ross. I'm your friendly product specialist here for another Learning with Line 6. Let's do the awkward bit, shall we? So, I know there's a little bit of a delay. Anyone who's watching, we've got a few people in the house tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Just let me know the voice is coming through and the guitar sounds something like... So there's the guitar. This is what my voice sounds like. It's as good as it gets, I'm afraid, and I'm a little sniffly. Apologies for that. So yeah, if anyone watching can let me know that the sound is okay, we'll go ahead and try and make some clean sounds out of high gain amps, which is the subject for this evening. Nice guitar, I meant. Cheers, Mr. Hale. Yes, so, breaking things. Oh, awkward. God, I'm so awkward at this. So, guitar I'm using, trusty, as you can see, it's getting a little bit beaten up now. Yamaha Pacifica 612V. It's really rather splendid, totally stock. Apart from the pickups, I swapped the Duncans out for bare knuckle True Grit, the boot camp set. So really inexpensive, but they sound great. Sounds perfect. Thank you, Martin. Good stuff. Right, so tonight we're gonna something that kind of came to light recently with just me messing around. We're going to try and get some clean sounds, or cleaner sounds certainly, using amps that you wouldn't necessarily think of using to get those sounds. So we're going to go with higher gain stuff, or certainly crunch channels. Out of the box, the defaults are kind of higher gain settings, and we're going to clean those up, and you'll hear some kind of really interesting tones. Keep an eye on the comments. Hi Fred, evening, we're in for a treat. Hopefully Duke, we'll see how it goes. These are always fun times. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to choose some high gain amps. I won't cover them all. It'll be a fairly quick one tonight. It'll just kind of give you a good basic idea that clean sounds and kind of crunch sounds and just on the edge of breakup sounds can be found in amps that you wouldn't necessarily think of going to, and just kind of widens the palette a little bit. So where do you start with this? Some of it is sort of general knowledge about amps, so kind of read through, see what the different things are based on. Certainly our own amp models as well. There's some great stuff in there which we'll get to. So it's just a little bit of knowledge and going, right, okay, well, this is in this sort of vein, more kind of American or more British, or, you know, certain characters will get you to where you want to go closer, or you can just go through and mess around. So let's have a look. So this is the setup that I have at the moment. Ignore this bottom line. That is what you're hearing my voice through. So we'll kind of concentrate on this line. And I have a compressor, so I've got the guitar going in, I'm going to hit a compressor, we're going to hit an amp, we're going to start with a Matchstick channel 2, and I'll probably, for now, leave it on this cab. So this is my kind of go-to cab, the 212 Interstate, with a 160 ribbon, a little away from the grill, low on the high cut around there, bit of early reflections, and just I've got the 63 spring on there for a little bit of talent, as I call it. So if we start there, so that's the kind of, I've just called this up as a good starting block. This is channel 2, so this is the crunchy kind of channel of the Matchstick. That's what it sounds like. I'll do this so you can possibly see what I'm doing with the guitar. If I'm doing any, there we go. If I'm doing anything with the guitar at all. So that's kind of a cool crunchy sound. I might tweak that slightly. I might add a little bit more of that, a little bit more of that. Even more gain if I wanted to. There we go. So kind of out of the box, it's a fairly crunchy sound. Now, understanding the different controls on the amps is kind of quite important with this. So you got the drive. That's more like your kind of preamp gain than the master volume there, which you'll see is cranked all of the way up. So that is kind of the power amp stuff, so I can definitely clean that up a little bit by by bringing the drive down. But certainly to play, you're getting that real thick kind of power amp saturation in there. So on sort of more vintage style amps like this, what you want to do, definitely bring the drive down, but bring that master down as well. And I might need to compensate with that with a little bit more channel volume, but you'll hear now a little bit too much channel volume. Bring that down even further and a little bit more drive, and suddenly we're getting into the cleaner realms. So the combination on amps that are styled like this, the drive and the master down a little bit, bring that tone down just to warm it up, and a little bit more cut, a little bit more presence, and that's a real nice kind of sparkly clean sound. Compare that to the actual clean channel of that amp. Still got a little bit of grit to it. So it's definitely a different kind of sound just on that first one. Another one that I like to use, which I think is a great clean sound, the Brit Plexi Bright. So again, we're keeping with that kind of older vintage style amp. And that again out of the box. Don't know what that was. And again, that's kind of the master is all the way up. We've got the drive up there a little bit. And that's just a good rock and roll. So if I bring the drive down and the master is key on this, compensate a wee bit, this is a great clean sound. Down, scooping a little bit of the mids, a bit more presence. Now that's kind of the amp that's based on. That's probably about as dirty as most immortals will get to hear the amp in real life, because it's very loud, and to get that level of gain that the default's set at, yeah, you will probably rearrange your internal organs. Seeing a comment there. Fred said, did I just see that match the 30 versus clean have master and channel level sliders reversed? Never noticed that before. Nope. I don't think so. Nope. Master's up. Drive's up. There you go. Yeah. Hopefully that's what you meant. So let's go for another British thing. So again, the 2024. I mean, just a classic kind of, you know, good old 80s rock tone. You bring that drive down. Just the drive down on this is fine. That's just a real nice warm. Now the reason I've got the compressor in here is sometimes you might want just a little bit of extra kind of forgiveness. It gives it a little bit of sparkle on there as well. I mean, that, I love that as kind of a just on the edge of breakup kind of sound. Similar thing with a more modern edge, the Percator, and the master volume kind of works slightly differently on this. If you crank it, you can definitely get that power amp gain And that C45 switch is very noticeable with this. So I'm just going to bring that down. Turn the C45 on. We're suddenly in that kind of on the edge of breakup kind of vintage plexi-ish. So if you dig in, it's kind of crunchy still, but just a really nice on the edge of breakup. So now we're getting into the kind of super heavy stuff. So this technique doesn't really work on all of them. If we go with the California lead, now this is actually my own kind of default settings. So that's kind of, because these amps, if you're familiar with the Mark Series stuff, this is a nightmare. That's kind of opposite to what a lot of people do. I know my good buddy John Cordy does this as well, and a few other people, but generally you'll kind of scoop all that stuff out. But yeah, this took a minute to dial in against my own old boogie. So this is kind of pretty accurate to real life. How I used to have mine set. If you bring these down again, and a bit more presence, scoop those mids, and all of a sudden, it's that one. It's almost kind of, tweak this. I can't remember how I said this. A little bit less of that, more of that. So that's super high present. Now these amps love to kind of see a hot, slightly hotter input, so the compressor works great on that. Again, really nice, sweet stuff. Pixelot, it'd be great if Line 6 Helix had some kind of online amp tone library the user could reference to hear what the original amps sounded like. There are many amps I've never heard in person. Yeah, I don't know if we could do that, but I mean, there's a ton of, obviously a ton of stuff on YouTube that you can check out and give you an idea. It's kind of difficult when you have tube amps, because obviously they all sound slightly different. But that's not a bad shout there, Pixelot. I'll put that forward. We might be able to do that. I couldn't get the Plexis to sound this nice. It must be the okay, Duke. I won't carry on with that one. Serial upfront forgiveness and parallel talent. How can this not sound great? Is that about me? All Helix. It's good. It's all good, Paul. Right. Moving on. So, this is another little favourite of mine. So again, these are my default settings, because this is a bit of a swine to dial in. Whoa! That's loud. We'll get some of that presence off. So that's kind of where the rectifier sort of lives. If I pull that drive back, I can give a little bit more bass. I'm going to scoop those mids. Bit of that and a bit of that. I'm going to add some sag. A little less treble. Put some present. Now that's that kind of. Almost kind of cranked blackface thing. And I really like that for that. There's still too much bass on there. Bring the master down, clean it up even more. So again, the Cali Rectifier is not an amp that you would normally kind of go, reach for when you're going for a cleaner sound or an edge of breakup. We'll do a couple more because I could just go on and on, and this is fun to experiment with. So the Doom, I love this one. So again, let's keep comments. Bob says you're using the humbucker. So the bridge stuff, I'm generally using the humbucker. For the next stuff, it is single coils, true single coils, not stacked or anything. So yeah, the Doom amp. I don't know how to play Doom. I apologize to the Doomers out there. Bring the drive back. Bring the master back. Channel volume. Some bass off. Some mid scooped. You'll see kind of a running theme with this. But that's just beautiful. I might give the master a little bit more of a tickle. A little bit less drive. I'm going to clean that up even more. Stick the compressor on. Let's just be really fruity for a sec. Move that over there. And just for fun, because 80s. So again, just to kind of show you where we've come from. Back to roughly where we were. So some of these Line 6 amps are mega versatile. Bob says, need to know which one you're using on each demo as this affects input levels. I'm kind of switching between them, Bob, so yeah, there'll be a lot of me talking, which is never a good thing, but yeah, it's just bridge humbucker, single coil neck pickup, and hopefully you'll kind of hear which one's which when I am playing it, not being lazy. It's been a little bit more practical. Paul says, Rockerbverb cleans, please. Okay. Where is it? There it is. So, out of the box. Beautiful, beautiful sound. Pretty much all you have to do with this one. Just bring the drive down. I mean, that's just a great sound. A bit of compression. That's kind of killer for the country, so I might give it a little bit less than that and a little bit more of that. There's some rocker sounds. What are we saying? You talk about the gender difference between preamp and poweramp gain as it relates to these silicon mods. Yes, I absolutely can. I'll do that in a second. Can we see comp settings? Yes, you can. There are my compressor settings. That is really easy because that's just the stock deluxe comp. Nothing tweaked, straight out of the box. And just approve. Boom. There you go. So totally stock. Easy. Easy peasy. Obviously you can use any of the other ones as well. Right. So preamp versus poweramp. So if I bring up the Plexi Bright. So some of this is feel. You'll kind of hear a little bit on the tone. So that's a bit of preamp drive and poweramp drive. So this does differ per amp model because of different circuitry and so on and so forth. I need to set the compressor off. Silly boy Ross. There we go. So if I bring the master volume down, it's definitely going to clean up but get some kind of hair still from the preamp. Crank that up. If I swap that for poweramp, so I don't know if this is going to come across on Facebook or YouTube, but kind of what's happening there, to my ears in this room, I'm monitoring with a pair of Yamaha HS7 monitors. That's kind of the poweramp gain is a little bit squishier and definitely warmer versus the preamp. So if I bring that down even more. Versus preamp. This is a little bit brighter and less squishy under the fingers. Don't know if that comes across, but yeah, that's kind of the difference really for me. So let's finish with one of my favorite ones. Can I says, thanks, sounds great. Great if I gain, yeah, man. One of the best ones for the kind of clean to dirty stuff, if you want to use the snapshots, is the Badonk, which I still laugh at every time I see that name. So that's, other than the channel volume, which I'm just being greedy in the room so I can crank it. That's the stock setup. Now, who would have thunk it? If you do a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Let's give a little bit of, actually give us a bit of that. I'm just mumbling now, apologies. All of a sudden, we get into this territory. Which is kind of almost somewhere, to my ears, somewhere sits between like a tweed and a blackface. The Badonk, ooh, what does that sound? And that sounds killer as well. So, I mean, just a great clean sound. Deja vu. excuse me. And dynamic as well. So if I give the driver just a hair more. A few more mids. You can kind of dig in and get a little bit more hair. And who'd have thought, because I've just thought about this. So if we do this and this and this, we should. No, less of that, a bit more of that. Some of that. Less depth. I'll get there in a minute. Bear with me. This is going to be cool. Somewhere around there. That kind of thing. Again, without the compressor. Back to the original. Who'd have thunk it? And you can get classic rock sounds out of this as well. I do love the Badonk. It's such a great amp. So kind of that kind of amp struggling. So many different sounds out of the Badonk. Tony covered the Vento. What was it, Nick? There's a model. There's a whole session on some of the new stuff. They did a lot of work on this. Go and check that out as well, just to demonstrate that it doesn't work on every single amp. The Panama, that's pretty dirty. So that's more kind of a lower gain kind of thing on that. Didn't touch a thing, just bring the drive down. But even with the drive all the way pretty much on. Still. Still kind of dirty. So it doesn't work on every single one. So it's just kind of a little bit of playing around. Let's go through. DSP, yeah, you're welcome. Line 6 stuff, secret weapons into each amp model they made. Yeah, we'd like to kind of give you little Easter eggs. Any chance of the user interface used for metallurgy being able to see representation? Could be an option in HX Edit. Pixelot, it's an excellent question. I'm sure you're not the only one that's asked for that. Go to ideas scale. I'm sure you'll see the subject. Vote that up. The more people that ask, the more people, the more chances that we'll have of doing it. Whether we can or not is a totally different matter. Way, way above my station. So I wouldn't want to comment, but go idea scale. If there isn't that on there already, put it on and people will vote it up or not. Lyle, is there anywhere that we can find the primary frequencies for bass, middle and treble, presence knobs for the various tone stacks? I know it's a lot to ask, but just wondering. That I have no clue. I'm sure if you look hard enough, you'd be able to find that somewhere. Or if you're any good with schematics, maybe. If you find schematics for some of the amps, you might be able to figure it out from there. But the answer, cop-out answer is no. I have no idea. Apologies. Alex says, great tones. What kind of cab are you using? I am using, in fact, didn't even change that. So I'm using the 212 interstate with a 160 ribbon, 1.5 inches away from the grill. I've shaved a little bit more low end off. I've added some early reflections, and that's that. So just to kind of show you that real quick. So if we go back to the Badonk and clean that up, I've kind of talked about this a little bit before, kind of being slightly aware of sort of what different mics sound like. So that's kind of nice and warm with the ribbon. So that's kind of how I've got it set up. If I change that for, say, the 421, that's going to get brighter and clearer. If I want kind of a more in-your-face sound, go the 57. If I want it super jazzy and dark, go with the 4038. Different sounds again. I just changed the mic, so be aware of that. And I've talked about this before. That's literally there's an amp, there's a cab, and there's a little bit of reverb to cheer me up. A plethora of sounds at your disposal with just a couple of knobs. If I just give that a little bit more. So that now, but I kind of like the girth that gives, but I'm just going to kind of brighten that up a bit. I'm not touching the low cut, I'm taking the mic away from the grill. I mean, you can hear that, so right up. There's the proximity effect. So mess around with the mics as well, and you'll get a ton of different sounds to play with. JP Level says, sounds great, Ross. Thank you very much. Bob says, is there any way of having, get rid of that now, having a much more detailed description of a patch such as a text file? I've no idea, Bob. I am sorry. I have no clue. Thank you. Put on a day scale. Thanks for these live streams. You're very welcome, Pixelot. Thanks for tuning in. Dean says thanks for the video and the ideas. Got a jet now. Peace. Peace to you, Dean. Take it easy. That kind of covers it. I've managed to drag it out 35 minutes talking about the same subject. You're probably bored, but thank you so much for tuning in. I believe next week we have the fabulous and delectable Nick Bell up. Doing some stuff for you. So we're going to carry these on. They're going to keep coming. If you've got any suggestions, if there's anything you want to see, throw it on in the comments of this or any of the other videos. We've got tons of these now, so go back and check them out. If there isn't anything that specifically that you do want to see, we'll try and get it covered. We've got other products coming as well. Obviously, if you didn't know, and you haven't seen the news, we've just released our new plugin stroke standalone thing called Metallurgy, which is cool. And you've got a ton of these different apps in there as well. Go and check that out. Brand new. It's on the website. There's a ton of videos for that too. But yeah, give us some ideas if there's anything you want to see. Failing that, tune in same time, same place next week to see Mr. Bell. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe, stay well, and we will see you again. Take care. See you in a bit. Cheers.